Oh, no, that's perfect.
Welcome everyone back to Urban Pro Wrestling. As you can see by the gentleman next to me, this is a very big sign, the biggest acquisition in UPW history to this date. Ladies and gentlemen, the Concrete Dragon, Tristen Ty. How are you, man?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'll tell you that much. I'm
As we
excited.
as we should. And with that, I want to go straight into this because your nickname kind of caught me off guard for a very long time. I like asking these things. Was it given to you, or did you come up with it?
So it was something where, like a lot of I've tried a lot of different monikers and like from when I started until now, and they all were just trying to. It was like a breadcrumb trail of names to get me to this kind of idea now, where like I'm really able to encapsulate what I'm bringing to the table and why I talk the way I talk and why I back it up the way I back it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the concrete dragon is more or less everything that's about me. You know, the dragon aspect because I am a disciplined martial artist. I know combat. You know what I mean? Like I put blood, sweat, and tears into those mats and those dojos. I mean, a lot of nights I could have been, messing around, like doing other things, hanging out with friends. Like I was out there doing push-ups on my knuckles. You know what I'm saying? Like I was out there learning how to find my discipline. You know what I'm saying? And then the concrete part. I mean, I'm a New York kid. You know what I mean? Like I grew up, you know, with a solid group of guys. You know, had OGs that really steered me in the right direction in terms of knowing that I had a passion for something that didn't need me to add trouble into that mix because you can't have both.
right.
And I learned that very early on, and I'm very thankful to be around that, having a great family, meeting my wife in college, and being able to, and her sticking by me with that while I was just tossing around the idea like, yo, I'm gonna wrestle, like I want to be a wrestler. She's like, what's wrestling? So right on, usually right from there, it's kind of like, it's not a good thing when your
Right.
girl doesn't, you know what I mean? Like I can't, there's probably a million wrestlers who aren't wrestling right now because their girl didn't get wrestling, and mine didn't, but she knew I was passionate about it. And I told her, I said, yo, before we really get like together, like connected, like let's squash this right now. Like I'm gonna wrestle. If you can't handle that, like don't let me, you know, don't be with me pretty much. And she was like, all right, well, you got this. And I was like, all right, you're coming with me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was the idea. Where, you know what I mean? No, but like, like, and then for real, she's been with me on this entire ride, like forever. She's put, she's selflessly learned about it. Even if it means getting into total divas first. You know what I mean? Like she just wants to understand why I love something, just like I love her. I can easily explain to her why I love her, and she'll get that. She'll never understand. Well, at first, she would never understand why I love wrestling, and now
Wow.
she, and I mean, and like now, like she really gets it, and because of that, now, like she knows, like, okay, you're leaving this weekend. Maybe you should, all right, let's make sure your bag's packed. Oh, make sure we got food. Hey, we got to eat good this week. You know what I mean? You got to show. You know what I mean? Like she's looking out, and when you have that, that then the hustle's on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what the question was, if I'm being honest.
the uh the concrete dragon nickname. Where did it come
Oh
from?
no,
Yeah.
no. So basically, no, just my no. So the concrete parts, my upbringing, my morals. You know what I mean? I'm very solid on what I stand on. You know what I mean? Like I agree. I loyalty over money. You know what I mean? Like not knowing exactly who you are, not being afraid of who you are. You know what I'm saying, embracing yourself. You know what I mean? That's the concrete part, and then my upbringing. Where I'm from, and how again exactly how I was raised, the rules I was raised on, and the dragon part is my discipline and what I bring to the table. And also a little combatant of what I was trying to fight. I was trying to fight the Asian stereotype because I didn't want to be typecasted in a role. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you look at Ricky the Dragon, Steve O, you got Bob, everyone's dragon, even Brian Danielson, the American Dragon. Like everyone has something, a lineage of Asian culture. I wanted to be the only Asian guy that wasn't the Asian guy, and then I started to really kind of backtrack and be like, no, like you have talent. be proud of who you are. You are you. There's no one that's going to be like you. So don't be worried
Exactly.
about being confused with anybody. So that's where, I had different names before, but when I first started, I want to be the perfect element. Tristen Ty. Why perfect element? You don't know exactly what I'm bringing to you because I'm so different. Next was, I was just saying, cut the check. I'm about money, and that's it. I don't care what you got to say. I'm just cut the check. That's it. Every picture, every post, every promo was just cut the check. That's it. Then I got hurt. Super humbled. Now I'm like, am I gonna wrestle again? Let alone is my leg gonna look the same? You know what I mean?
Right.
Then I started messing around with other things. Well, what am I? Well, I don't want to be. I want to be me. I don't want to be anybody else. I want to show. I want to know a perfect element. That sounded weird, so people can't really. What about the exception? Yeah, I'm the exception. Like, yeah, he's like, he looks like these guys, but no, he's the exception. I think about like, girls or like friend groups. Like, I was the only Asian kid growing up. I was the only like Asian kid any girls been with. Like, for what I mean, like I've only been a representation of me, and like because of that, a lot of people might not view people that look like me with the same respect, but I've realized they become desensitized to me specifically, good or bad. I'm the exception to a lot of the rules that people maybe put on you. So I was like, oh, well, I'm the exception. But how do I get that across in an entrance and a promo and a moveset? I don't know if I can do that. Concrete Dragon. So the Concrete Dragon is the exception, is the perfect element, is the Mr. Cut the Check, is your mama's favorite wrestler. You know what I mean? Like all that attitude, all that frustration, all that passion towards being an individual came through.
A light bulb just went off in my head, and we'll talk about that off the air because holy hell, that was like, wow. All right, I'm gonna be excited for that one.
I ramble. I'm sorry.
No, but that was like the greatest ramble I've heard, and like just money just went off in my head for a minute. And and the next question I wanted to ask, you mentioned a black belt. I am big into mixed martial arts. I have said that before, and I'll live by it. What got you into mixed martial arts? Like, what was the thing that I want to do that?
I wanted to be a Power Ranger and a wrestler. That was literally it. That was it. Like maybe at a time, maybe that switched to like wanting to be like Scarface, but it went from, but it was really like Power Ranger and a wrestler. And I was like, I better learn how to fight. I also had like so much fucking energy as a kid. Like they were just like, you got to stick him in something, have him hit something, make him tired at night, basically.
Yeah.
So like they would have me in the kid, in the age group classes, and I'd still be jumping on the wall. They were like, maybe he'd be interested in these classes. Ended up I was spending 6 days a week there, and I was spending 4 hours a day. Each class like an hour and a half. I would just stay. I would just want to just sit there and stay, not realizing I was really soaking in discipline and drive and a skill set that that could look pretty, but it's fucking deadly. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to strike. I learned how to placement strike. I learned how to use my size as my advantage and not let it be a crutch. In my black belt class, I was, I was 4'10", probably like 100, like not even 100 pounds, probably 80 pounds, legitimately.
Oof.
And I'm fighting teenagers. Like I'm 10 years old in my black belt class. Like I'm fighting like teenagers. Like I'm sparring with I'm grappling with teenagers. Like I'm giving it to them too. Like obviously, like they're fucking throwing me around, but I'm just getting right back up, and I'm getting in their face. Like, and the same thing would happen. You know what I mean? At school, whatever. Like it would just be the same thing. I just wanted to just be physical, not bully, not fight, not anything. But I just wanted to be physical. I just wanted to feel like I always wanted to feel like I could just, I don't know, get over on somebody like in that way. You know what I mean? Just like dominate somebody because of skill, not because of strength, not because of like anything, like no weapons, just skill. And sometimes I and so I gravitated towards, the scrappier kids, I guess, because it was just on their mind too, I guess.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah. No.
So, I always go back and forth during these things. You did mention off air you played football. I like to ask about.
So football. I mean, here's the thing. So like, I started off as a soccer player, right? And all my boys were playing football.
Mm-hmm.
So one day they needed a kicker, basically. And they were just like, yo, come over here, go kick this over there. So I did. And they backed me up. I wasn't even really realizing it. They're like, yo, kick this over here. He's like, kick this over here. And they're like, yo, come over to my house on Saturday. So I just went over Saturday and they just gave me the jersey and the helmet, like, all right, you're kicking right now. And then I had to go change right from there and I go to my soccer game right after. So it was only, in high school and stuff. And also I was really, really small too. Like I would like football wasn't really on my mind, like competitively, like collegiately. I would have loved to play. But when you're, when you're, 5 feet tall and like 100 pounds, like they're not even looking your way.
Right.
And also again, I wanted to be a wrestler and I wanted to be um a Power Ranger. So if it wasn't taking me there, I didn't want to waste my time with it. I only did sports so I could meet people, so I could stay busy and I can get some sweatshirts. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really care about. I didn't even care about playing in college. Like I was like, I'm just playing because I love playing sports. You know what I'm saying? Like freshman year, like I wrestled at like the 96 103 weight class. My freshman year of high school, like I was tiny. Like I had to learn how to eat, how to work out, how to like, force myself to eat, how to like, even though I had discipline from karate and things like that, weight training and being able to, go through that is a whole different ballgame. That's a whole different lifestyle change. That's a whole different groups of decisions. I mean, I could sit on a wall, I do those wall sits. I could do a wall sit for an hour, but talking about eating 6 times a day and breaking your metabolism and going ahead and learning more about nutrition and learning how to gain weight, what's good, what's not, and then still being on the wrestling team. And the fact that wrestling season is during Thanksgiving and Christmas is really fucked up because you're just sitting there not looking at anything because you can't eat. Luckily, I still couldn't eat because I still remained in the parameters of my weight class. It wasn't like I could go up like that. So once that ended, once like senior year ended, I graduated. I was probably like down to like 150 or something like that, maybe 160. But it was just a lot of just eating and lifting. And in college, same exact deal. So like, I always loved being in a locker room. Back to your point.
Mm-hmm.
And the locker room vibe, again, you're around your coaches who, at least in my school, my coaches were winners. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're from that cloth that I was talking about earlier, where they understand victory. They understand the beauty of it. They understand the evils of it and what it can do to the mind, what it can do to the body. On a small level, whether it's high school level, whether it's collegiate, whether it's professional, like knowing what that locker room vibe is, having that camaraderie, knowing who your leaders are, knowing who the clowns are, knowing who people got to get out of there and why they got to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like making sure the conversation on the bus is about success. We don't got time for none of that. Making sure you're making sure the people you're sitting next to on the bus, in the locker room, on the field, on the sideline is doing best by you. Your lives are in their hands. I don't want to hear about, oh, you're distracted. No, because I need you to block for me. I need you to, or I need you to be open for this pass, soccer wise or basketball. I need you to set this screen. I need you to, like we have plays, you know what I mean? Like now you bring that to wrestling. Very literally, my life is in these people's hands. I don't want to talk, if I hear you saying you're popping pills, like I'm not saying nothing to you, but I'm not getting in there with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you talk about, you beating your mommy, it's not that beating your girl, like that's none of my business. But at the same time, I understand like the locker room, like that's just, that's not the tone of the locker room you want to be around. You want to be around winners. Granted, everybody not be up here, but if your goal is there and you're actually living to get up there, you're not just you're not just writing on Facebook, I want to be a winner, and then going ahead and doing some fuck shit. No, I'm talking about like you don't have time to even put a status because you're out there doing the shit. Those people who know how to manage a family and travel. Those that know how to balance a checkbook, that know how to budget, that know how to invest, that know how to turn their little coins or whatever little t-shirts into something, that they know how to fashion design. They know how to sew their own gear together. They know how to pack a bag for a flight. They know how to pack a bag for a hotel. They know how to call a hotel. They know how to call a shuttle service. They know how to get to an airport. They know how to, like those little things that they don't teach you in wrestling school, and it's not their job to, but life is. And life isn't going to teach you that either. Like you got to just go ahead and do it. So you got to make sure you're built like that and that you're around the right people automatically in order to know that that's even for you.
Absolutely.
Again, rambling, but the idea that like you want to everywhere you look, you want to hear people talking about the right thing in the locker room. Absolutely. So that's what I learned from sports, was knowing exactly what's supposed to sound like. It's very easy to walk in and not know what's going on. And a lot of people, wrestling is the first time they're stepping foot in a locker room setting.
Yeah, that is true. Oh man.
So they don't. So it's just automatically dope. It's just this is we're a team. Like you know what I mean. Like yeah, we're a team, but at the same time, like you got to know how to act in there. And if you
Yeah,
don't know how to
definitely.
act in there, and a lot of times, and a lot of locker rooms are outnumbered by people who don't know how to act in there. So then that becomes the normal because that's the majority. You know what I mean? And then now you
Yeah.
have a toxic environment now. Now someone brings his friend, no one's checking him. Like, oh yeah, well he's cool. I know him for 3 minutes, so his friend must be cool. Let's bring him in. And then all of a sudden, oh now someone got touched. Now someone's bag got looked into. Oh now everyone's a scumbag. Now no, you mean you're just 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I mean? But people
Yeah.
know the difference. But I don't know. But I don't know nothing. So I don't.
Yeah. The oh man. The next question I had for you. So we got into why you went to wrestling. So we got into I don't think I actually asked that one. I think you explained that kind of in the first part. So I'm gonna go with key influences. Like when you first kind of like laid your eyes on wrestling, who were like the top three people you were like, this looks cool?
The top three people. So I mean, John Cena got me to keep the television on. I was at a family party and I was like, "This is whack. I'm gonna go watch TV." And then I went to a room. I couldn't find the remote, so press the button or whatever. It's just wrestling on UPN. Remember that SmackDown was on UPN, and he's just
Good
ripping apart
days.
someone. I don't remember who he was ripping apart. Maybe it was like the FBI or something. He was just
Oh
rapping.
dear.
He got a dope jersey on. He was just making fun of him. He takes his jersey off. He's freaking jacked. I'm like, who is it? And he starts fucking them up. I'm like, picking him up. I'm like, what is this? What is this? You know what I mean? And then probably like after that, and then for the next week, I just kept trying to turn on the channel. And I mean, until it ended up being Friday a week later, and it happened to be on because obviously I just turned on the channel at the right day, but I did it every day because I didn't know when it was on.
Right.
And then I asked my mom, "Yo, what is this?" She goes, "Oh, that's wrestling. That's garbage." And I was like, "I love it." So I was like, "All right, I want to do this." So Blockbuster or whatever went and like got like Royal Rumble '99. I was like, "Who the fuck are these guys? Give it back." Because remember, I just saw John Cena, and then
Yeah.
it was John Cena on SmackDown for like a segment, and the next thing I saw was Royal Rumble '99, and I was like, "Who the fuck? What is this? What is like?" Some people were like, "How could you say that?" And I just was different already, so I was like, "I'm off it." I didn't know what it was, you know. And then then you start watching a little bit more. Then you meet. Then I don't know if you remember when you meet your first friend that likes wrestling, your world changes. The
Oh
first time you
yeah.
meet a friend that likes the same shit you do, and no one else likes it, like that was yeah, that was
It's
cool, man. So that's another person I would say. My friend Gerald, um, he was my first wrestling friend, and he was also the first person that said I could do it or that I should wrestle. And that was
wow.
something that was really, yeah. And he was there at my first match. He was there at my last match that I had in New York. He comes when he can, and he's just been supportive ever since. And he's just like someone who I'm always gonna hold close. I'm always gonna put over because he asks for nothing except good fortune for anyone he comes in contact with. So he's someone who's even throughout the years where we might have gone our separate ways, not animosity, but just you know if he's
Just
chocolate on
life.
vanilla, things like what I mean. So, but wrestling was the one constant, and it was like
Wow.
the biggest influence. You know what I mean? Other than that, as far as wrestlers, I mean, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and Randy Orton. Those were them. I didn't really know the first independent show I went to was the first one I was basically at. I was basically on. You know what I mean? Like once I started wrestling school, I went to an independent show. I think before that, I visited Florida. My grandma was living in Tampa, and there was some wrestling show in like a parking lot, and I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" I was like, "If it's not big stage, to me, if it's not big stage, it doesn't matter." You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how I always felt. I never wanted to be an independent wrestler. I always wanted to be, it was WWE or nothing. Because why the fuck would I do this for nothing?
Right.
Little did I know that's the journey. But like that's the journey. But and then because of that, my trainer really helped me respect what I was watching and the process I was going through because I didn't know the process. A lot of people
Oh
are,
wow.
I don't want to use the term marks, but like they don't know the process of what it takes to get there. So they expect one thing. I think respectfully, ignorantly enough, you think it's like tough enough and you just go ahead and just now you're in the dance. Or you get
Right.
drafted like any other sport, you know? Um, first time I was on a show and I didn't know anybody on the show, and I was like, oh wow, like this is weird. Like I don't know anybody, and there's people here. There's no way these people know anybody. Who are these people? What am I missing out on? And it was a really, it ended up being a really cool show. But, um, if it wasn't for the way that he taught me, I feel like my respect wouldn't have kicked in so quickly.
Right.
Because like the rolls and stuff, I got down. The bumps, I got down. Running the ropes, I got down. Like it wasn't like I was like I knew how to do it before I did it. Like not like I arrogantly, like it's still arrogantly, but like also humbly. Like I was like, I know what we're doing here. I'm not a spaz. I know how to forward roll. I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
And I'm a grown ass man. I know how to roll. And that also I was the only student too with him. So I got a lot of one-on-one attention and a lot of, and we also got along. We both watched, we both like sports. We both like certain music. It was the same. It wasn't just like teacher student, like, okay, I got to deal with this. It wasn't like I got to deal with this mark for 2 hours and whatever. I'll see you next week. No, it's like we became really good friends.
That's
and
true.
a big brother type figure too. So he's really put me on game, like telling me, oh, like watch this match, or let's watch this match together. Oh, you see why he did that? I got a lot of intimate training where not a lot of people get that right away, especially when they come into a class, because there's different levels. There's people are already on a schedule. There's already kind of a regimen. I was his first student, and I was his only student.
Wow.
And yeah, so shout outs to him, man. Kono Capuccia, man. And this whole above the rest thing that I promote and that I greatly be a part of. I have it on my skin, above the rest. That's his idea. That's his tag team that he always wanted to make. And so at our home promotion, when we first started training, where, me and him became tag champs. We actually still are tag champs because the company closed down because of COVID. So we're the longest reigning tag champs right now. But
hey, there you go.
Yeah, right. No, but that was a big moment for us to have those colors and that name and kind of really see his fruition through. And then when Gabe started training with us, he fell right. He fell right in, and Gabe Sky. Now we're above the rest as well together. And me and him have taken that name. We blew up CZW with it. You know what I mean? That's where we kind of got our tag start. And then we start. Now we tag for Beyond Wrestling too. And we were really just crushing it out there. And it really formed a family bond where he influences me just as much as Kono does too. Now at this point, it's not so much the peers that I look up to, but it's the peers that I came up with because I watch and I'm with them every day.
Absolutely.
So I would, so my answer is shifted towards people that I really admire, that I hope to meet one day. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Guerrero. You know what I mean? But now it's kind of the peers that I bump shoulders with and ride along with because I know what they're feeling. So when I watch them blow it out of the water and fucking kill it, it inspires me because I know what he was just telling me, the time before, what I just had to, put on his shoulders and say, yo, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it right now. Like, what's going on? How come we're not getting so-and-so? How come it's just not working out? Blah, blah, blah. And then we go ahead, and then, I need him to, smack me in the face and be like, get your shit together. You know who you are?
Exactly.
I know who I am. Do you know who you are? You need that. You need that brother. It's the same thing. Dom De Niro. You know what I mean? Like Desmond Cole. Percy Ryan, Sam Hain. All like the guys that I really came up with. Like we talk every day. We talk about wrestling. We talk about how everyone's doing. We talk about everyone do their push-ups today. Like we make sure everybody's winning because if I find, and I just happen to be at the platform to give different type of advice and different type of stories that I'm learning. But if I keep that from everybody, then that's not wisdom. That's just it doesn't help anybody.
Exactly.
If my family isn't eating, then I'm not having a bite, pretty much. And that's how I really believe, and that's how they believe too. And then everyone that I just named, you're gonna hear their names like ring bells, like this year, next year, like it's
happening.
I mean, yeah, for real.
So I'm like debating with myself. I'm like, I know I want to keep it short, but we're on a roll here. So
there's nothing short with me, man. I talk forever.
Which is great, though. I've absolutely enjoyed because anyone who watches this, if they don't pick up something, it's a lot of gems you wind up mentioning here that they don't pick up something. I don't think they were paying attention enough closely. And I'm okay saying that on a recorded mic because it's true. And So with that, my next question is, what is the match that you feel is you've had a bunch right now? What match do you feel you've learned the most from?
Damn, it's really hard, bro, because every match that I've had has led me to the next one to find something new to learn. That's the real big thing. Like I could say the match I got injured in when I only wrestled for a minute and 17 seconds, but that was the match I learned the most in at that time because I learned automatically, yo, you're not unbreakable. Yo, shit does pass you by. Yo, you're one of them. You're one of the ones who got hurt. You might not walk again. Now it's quality of life. Now it's okay. Now what do you do? Now what do you do for work? Now what do you do? Like how are you gonna get to school? Like how are you gonna go see your girl? How are you gonna go? You're under contract. They can just you didn't do shit over there yet. They can just cut you out. Now what? Now what do you got to brag on? Now who's gonna hire? You have like, oh shit. Now you got to take a sit back and be like, oh, I was on cloud nine. Now what's going on?
Right.
This supposed to be my year. This is my year now. What's going on? And then boom, COVID. So no matches helped me learn a lot too. But I got hurt the day before Thanksgiving 2019. So basically my quarantine started about 2 months before everyone else's.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like learned a lot in that period too. And then coming back in better shape on at the battle riot, that I learned a lot there because I was able to be thrown right back in, got embraced, got told, hey, we got you. And that whole process of getting better, learning, trusting my body, learning new moves, wrestling differently, knowing how to place my stuff, knowing how to, changing stuff around, like watching myself constantly. I learned more from that period than I could ever imagine. And then, I had a match last minute, like not even my return match after that. I didn't really like that match that much. But then you talk about again, Gabe calls me up at 9 a.m, says, yo, I'm about to drive to your house. Like we gotta go to fucking Jersey. I was like, why? He was like, we got called. We're gonna wrestle. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we're tagging. You ready? I was like, not really, bro. Like, I mean, that like perfectly honest with you, like I'm not mentally ready to just get a call and go wrestle. Like I haven't done this shit. I'm not ready. And he's like, all right, I'm on my way. And he knew that was the right answer to tell me. Like sometimes you got to put me in the car. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm good to go. It's
Right.
just sometimes, and it's comfortable being able to be vulnerable with someone like that who knows where you're at. Because if you keep that shit in, it's not healthy. Your indiscretions, your anxieties, what's troubling you, what you're scared of, you got to get that out.
Right.
Or you're gonna take it out somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and then I learned a lot from that match because we got changed in the car. We called the match in the parking lot on the way there, and then we were literally, it was like, how do you want to end it? How much time we got? All right, our music is hitting go. That was the first time I ever had to do that. Prior to that, when me and Gotch wrestled Brian Pillman Jr. and Davey Boy Smith, like in Gorilla, I was told that my friend died. And then my music hit. Now you're on MLW. Now this is a pre-tape. Now you gotta go out there. I'm a grind. People are telling me, you're good. You gotta go out there. You gotta go out there. Forget it. You got this. Blah blah blah. You're like smacking me. Blah blah. I don't remember that match at all. I was on autopilot. That's an experience for me too. Being able to hold yourself, be professional, and go do your job.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then come back and deal with what happens after. Same thing with my return. The 3 days or 4 days before my return to a battle riot, my other friend died. So it's just like, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? And then it's just one of those situations where it seems like there's just not great news every time something good happens, but that's the duality of life, and you got to be able to sit in that and control that for yourself.
Exactly.
War Chamber, I learned a lot being there with those guys that size and me feeling it. Again, the light bulb goes off. I'm not no bitch. I'm not about to look like one and have anyone go home saying, yo, Quan didn't do what he needed to do. Like, again, Hammerstone, Holiday, Savio Vega, Jeff Cobb, Fatu, the Sentai guys that are bigger than fucking them. You know what I mean? EJ, Kruger. You know what I mean? We're talking about the smallest. I'm talking about next to me, the smallest guy in there was Richard Holiday at 246, 263. That was the next smallest guy.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? So you're talking about now I had to make my presence felt in there. You know what I mean? Even the first War Chamber match, it was me and Loki. Obviously, there's more people my size in there, but again, me being in there, my first match for MLW, I'm in a War Chamber match with Kevin Von Erich in Texas, with the Von Erich boys. We got, you know what I mean, like Low Key, Tom Lawler, and I got all these Contra guys that now I'm riding with. That's kind of like, yo, this is on you, kid. Like you got to do something this one. I mean, no one knows me, no riders know me, so you learn a lot there too. That whole process, landing on a plane, texting who you need to text, getting your itinerary, going to the hotel, getting some sleep in, not getting some sleep in, knowing how to check in. Oh, hello, how are you? Is he a wrestler? I have no idea. Let me shake his hand anyway. Nope, it's a random guy. Now you look numb. You know what I mean? Like shit like that, going to the airport, like you learn every aspect of this journey. There's something to learn. It's just up to if you're gonna learn it or not, or if you're gonna recognize it as a lesson. Some people recognize shit as a headache. I look at it as like you gotta pick this up. Same thing as same things as life. It's just you have to be able to pick up the lessons and recognize what it is. I'm sure next time I wrestle, my answer is gonna be that match.
As it should. So with that, I want to end on one more question. So what are your goals in UPW?
My first goal, besides getting some gold, is making that gold pristine, and that is only by my work. So one, don't bring me no kids, because don't bring me no kids, because they're about to learn something. I don't care, you know what I mean? Like, it's just everyone's a killer till the killer comes in, type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, don't send me no kids, because what I mean, let the kids watch. This one you can let the kids watch, but let them know. I mean, like, I want to make people understand that those three letters mean something more than just another wrestling show. It's never that. We talk about being one of one. There's no blueprint to this.
Exactly. Yeah.
If we're the blueprint, and if I'm part of it, that means I'm part of the blueprint, and nothing I touch is going to be whack. Nothing I touch is going to be lackluster, because it's my name. And that goes for anybody that decides to sign their name. And it's not that I'm signing over the whole thing. No, I'm putting my name right here, nice and small, right here. There's space for everybody, but don't put your name down here if you don't mean what I mean.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? And that's my goal, is to create. Realistically, my goal is to create an environment, a locker room, a presence to where everybody respects everybody, but not because they have to, because they earn it by doing the right thing. That doesn't mean,
I know. Oh yeah.
Doing that, but like, meaning like carrying themselves a certain way.
Exactly.
And that goes a long way. And when like, say, don't, I only judge someone by their watch and who they walked in with. I mean, that's, same thing. But back to like the locker room type feel and aura that I look for what I expect when I'm in a locker room, not just for me, but for my peers as well. Like, it's a continuous learning curve. Like, that's what I've been figuring out. And that's, even though it seems redundant that, like, everyone's like, you can never stop learning. It's a learn. You got to be part of the game. You got to study the game. Like, because that's said so much, I feel like it gets watered down to where people don't really pick up on what else that means. That means, figuring out, again, like, how to budget, how to manage a family, how to have time for the wife and the gym and promos and watching tape and your boys and video games and your own things that you like. And if you have pets, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, your cousins, you mean, like, your boys, your boys, like, their families. Like, if you again, if you have a shoot job, like, making sure you're on point over there. You know what I mean? That your coworker, you know what I mean? Like, that you have a good camaraderie. There's always a lot. And if you chose this path, you just got to accept that it's just not going to be normal. That's what I always tell people. Like, you're trying to force something. When people get frustrated, I'm like, are you trying to have a normal life? If you are, then this isn't where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, your parents chose normal. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean, your best friend chose normal. You know what I mean, like your friend group chose normal. Your teacher, you know what I mean, your classmates, like they chose normal. So now you feel like the oddball because now you feel like you can't do what they're doing. No, you can't do what they're doing because you got other shit to do.
Exactly.
It's not wrong. I mean, let them do their thing, but don't feel like you're not missing out on. Oh yeah, they got the party going on, and this is going. No, you're meant to do other things. You gotta be able to take that. If you can't take that, then you're in the. You mean you just can't.
Yeah, the wrong ball game.
It's just gonna eat you. Like you have to accept that you are choosing a not normal life. So expect not normal situations. Expect people to not get it because if they got it, then they would do it.
Exactly.
It's the most beautiful thing in the world. You know what I mean? Mom says, yo, mom doesn't get it, your girl doesn't get it, your boys don't get it. Good. It's not for them. Exactly. As long as people are booking you and your name's on signs and you're getting notoriety and you're getting money, it don't gotta be cool to them. It's nice. It's nice if mom says, yo, I love your match. It doesn't gotta be cool to her. As long as wrestling pays my bills and my girl supports me, and I mean, it don't gotta be cool to my mom. She don't have to get it. I got my degrees. I got my masters. I'm good. You know what I mean? But that's really what's more important to her because she doesn't see longevity in beating yourself up, which of course I understand that too, which is why you got to make sure your mind is just as conditioned and disciplined as as your body is, So that's again being around strong people, getting away from the ignorance. You know what I mean? And keeping the people that are going to elevate you and support your brand and support what you got going on, close to you. That's it.
Well said. Damn. Well, with that being said, do you have any social medias you want to plug?
Yeah, man. On Twitter, you can follow me at Akira Kwan. Instagram is Tristen_Ty, and that's it, man. I don't got nothing else. You have a TikTok and all that?
I don't.
Snapchat? No, neither do I. I'm probably missing out on it, honestly. But I don't.
Snapchat isn't bad.
I have to use it.
TikTok, I can't get behind. I'll stay off TikTok.
Does that mean like we're old? That probably means we're old, honestly. I don't want to say that, but I think that means we're old.
I just learned a new feature. If you hold the little weird looking like I think they're called Bitmojis, and you slide it over to like the right hand corner, you can actually read a message without like it saying that you read the message. So if it's a message you don't want to respond to, you can like.
Yeah, no, we're old, bro. I didn't even know. I didn't know what a Bitmoji is. That's crazy. Damn,
I just found out. I found out like 2 days ago. I got made fun of for it. Obviously, I can see why, but I don't know. It looks stupid. I don't want to see my face in a little cartoon character. What is this? But no. More positive.
Oh no, I do know what you're talking about now, but I didn't know that's how it did it. That's crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah, man. Just people in front of me. Just put people in front of me, man, and I'll just knock them out. That's all I know how to do.
Sounds good to me. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have shirts like this coming out soon. I promise. I got blurred. This is not good. There we go. Anyway, it's the filter. Apologies. But we have t-shirts like this, Urban Pro Wrestling t-shirts coming out soon. Our website will actually, I know I've been saying this for forever. Our website will actually be done. The only reason why it really wasn't released because this man, we've been keeping as a secret for a very long time. So I didn't want to put it out. And then you guys see the surprise. This is the big surprise. April 3rd, we're soon going to be releasing tickets. We're soon going to be releasing just a bunch of updates. Stay tuned because April, we're going to be jam-packing you guys with content on our YouTube channel, updates on our social media, our Instagram, Urban Pro Wrestling, our Twitter, Urban PW. Website we'll have the domain that I'm looking for. We do have a Facebook page, Urban Pro Wrestling. Make sure you like that stuff. Come on now, what are you doing? And subscribe to the YouTube channel, Urban Pro Wrestling. You've made it this far in the video. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, share it, subscribe, send it to all your friends, family, etc. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you again next time shortly. Stay off the hook.